Well, on to our major story, everyone. Let's get started. So today, the APC and its presidential campaign launched their rally today in Akwa Ibom State, where the president and the candidate of the APC was presented with the party's flag, indicating the official commencement of the campaign for the APC for the 2019 presidential race. Well, when the president took to the podium, he assured Nigerians that they will keep to the aspirations of Nigerians and they will make sure that they will deliver on the promises they make to Nigerians. He indeed said that they have done well and they deserve to be voted in. Take a listen.
If you could recall, 2015, we went across the strength and breadth of this country, and we based our campaign fundamentally on three fundamental issues: security, economy, and fighting corruption. I would like those who want to challenge us at any level, at any constituency, to doubt our contribution towards our undertaking.
Well, just yesterday, the PDP came out to say the president's allies to the president and those who are close, family members of the president, are corrupt. And the APC has responded saying that that is not true. So tonight, the APC and President Muhammadu Buhari are telling the opposition and critics that they are hoping to challenge them on some of the issues they brought to the table. Let's get to talk about these. Some of the issues the APC has raised in their campaign and as open today, have they been able to meet up to expectation? And the PDP had come out today to also say that rally in Akwa Ibom State is a failure. Joining me to discuss this is a member of the APC, Mr. Osinaga from our Abuja studio, and also one of the spokesperson of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council, Mr. Kasim Afegbua, is also a former member of the APC who was recently moved back to the PDP. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on the show. Let me begin with you, Mr. Osinaga. The PDP has said that rally today is a failure. And the reception they described as a lukewarm one. For what the president said today and the manner in which the opening of your presidential campaign took today, would you say that Nigerians are enthusiastic about the APC candidate and the APC brand?
Well, Sheung, it's Yorubas will say, it's something eyes can see. None of the campaigns that PDP has held so far can rival what you saw today in Akwa Ibom. What you saw today in Akwa Ibom is in fact, an audacious move. That's the heartland of opposition that the president is starting with, and see the crowd depart. As for the promises that the president made in 2015, the three fundamentals: security, economy, and corruption. In each one, no government in the history of this nation has performed anywhere near. Take corruption, for instance. Over 400 mansions surrendered. Trillions of naira put together in TSA. Hundreds of billions taken from corrupt people. No government before now can rival that. The economy came out of recession in 10 months. Today, no government can match the social investment program that this government has put together. Not in the history of this nation. And in terms of security, by the way, you remember that this is the first Christmas we will spend in 4 years that no bomb went off anywhere. In the previous government, we had bombs go off, even in Abuja.
All right, let me allow Mr. Afegbua, Mr. Osinaga, just a moment. Let me allow Mr. Afegbua to come into this. Just a moment. Mr. Afegbua, coming to the conversation, if you may. The chairman of the APC did say, your party is not an option. And you heard that the president he has challenged opposition or his critics to contravene some of the promises they made in 2015 and if they have lived by those promises or not.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
So, you see, I want to empathize with Nigerians and Nigeria as a country. I want to empathize with them in the sense that listening to President Muhammadu Buhari, he was campaigning as if he was not the president. He possibly is not aware that he's the president of Nigeria. Because I could see the trembling in his voice. I could see the weakling in
Lord,
him.
have mercy.
I could see the frailty and fragility of his person. In 21st century Nigeria, this is not the kind of leadership we should crave for. He has no hope. He can't market hope. And so the entire situation has become hopeless. We need to reinvigorate the system. When you talk about security, Sheung, as we speak, I just got a breaking news now that one of the brigades, or the military brigades in Baga, has been taken over by insurgents as we speak.
The military has dispelled that story. The military, no, Mr. Afegbua,
and the governor
Mr. Afegbua, the military has said that is not
emergency
true.
rule.
They fought the insurgents yesterday. The military said they are in control of Baga, so that story may not be right, as you said. Go ahead, please.
No, I'm talking, well, if you say the story, okay, under every day, Nigeria has become, a killing field. If you pick any newspaper any day, please check. If you don't see killings, kidnappings, please, I'll give you my salary. I promise you, any day you don't see. Because we have not seen a government that is responsive, that is responsible, that is proactive.
Would you say that those are the promises made by the president and the APC, of which you were part of that campaign in 2015 before you changed course and you jumped ship? Are you saying that totally, if you are to rate the APC and the Buhari government, from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how would you rate them?
Well, maybe I will rate them 3 over 10. Because if you look at the manifesto of the APC, we have a lot of items contained there of what we intended doing when we take over government in 2015. One of the reasons why some of us left is because they weren't following the manifesto of the party. They weren't doing what they promised us. In Edo State, for example, we promised them affordable kerosene and electricity. It's right there on the billboards across Edo State because we campaign around the 18 local governments. As we speak today, kerosene per liter is about 300 naira. It's beyond the reach of the ordinary folks who use stove and other cooking items in the local area. Electricity, we celebrated 1 year of darkness in my community, for example, just 2 days ago. And Edo State, don't forget, the governor also had to work out the MD of the BEDC in terms of providing darkness rather than electricity. That is that. A government that promised restructuring as number 2 item in its manifesto and now discarding it cannot come and say that he has fulfilled the promise that he gave to Nigerians when he was campaigning for elections. And this government, when you talk about economy, the statistics from the National Bureau of Statistics say 20.9 million jobs have been lost, not created, job losses. That means those persons were having jobs before, but as a function of the bad economic situation we find ourselves, people have lost their jobs and they continue to lose their jobs. So to that extent, I do not see why a president who has not even measured up to average in terms of the rating for first term, now coming to tell us that even in Northeast, that they have degraded Boko Haram. Only about a month ago, we lost about 100 and something soldiers that were buried, in that place. It has never happened like that in the history of this country in terms of the insurgency, that you lose such number of soldiers in 1 day. In this same government, we lost about 250 persons in Dansado in Zamfara State. And as I speak to you, there are still killings almost every day. Sokoto State now is getting into the fray. And the police will tell us that the people we saw carrying guns and what have you, that they are just herdsmen. You saw the herdsmen farmers clashes in Benue. It has crippled farming activities in Benue State. Cost of staple food items has gone up. And so, for me, I do not see anything to celebrate. That's why I said in my introductory remark that this is more like empathizing with Nigeria because there will be a referendum in 2019 against poverty, against deprivation,
let's get
against
his thoughts on
malnutrition,
some of these
against,
issues. Let's get Mr. Osinaga into the conversation. Mr. Osinaga, if your party and this government has been rated 3/10 by one of those who were part of that campaign at the time, isn't that appalling? Considering the fact that your candidate said he will still stay on those 3 cardinal points that he campaigned with in 2015. Your party says they are going to the next level. Do you think Nigerians will understand the language of your campaign this time around?
Well, Shehu, you need to understand that the opposition that is campaigning against the president, they were in power for 16 years, 16 sordid, 16 wasteful, 16 tragic years. 16 years in which $16 billion was spent and there was no light. I can tell you that where I live in Abuja, this last week, we have had an average of 16 hours light a day. Just last week, we were told that in Maduguri, people are saying that there's too much light. Make no mistake about it. Yeah, we are not where we need to be, but we're not where we used to be. This government has outperformed the 16 years government of PDP in just 3.5 years. Check the statistics. It's talking about the unemployment. Unemployment 4 years ago was 18 or 17%. So it wasn't the 20 million. It is not the 20 million that became unemployed now. But don't forget that in the years when Nigeria made money, when we had the highest income from oil, there was absolutely no investment made. No sustainable investment was made in the economy, in the land. In fact, the last 1 year of PDP, they were borrowing monies to pay salaries. When APC government took over, almost 27 governments could not pay salaries, were owing money. President Buhari had to give them grants to pay salaries. Make no mistake about it, there are tremendous improvements in the lives of many Nigerians. For instance, many have gone back to farm. Over 2 million people are in farming and are doing well.
All right.
So
we must leave it at that.
You must remember that when you mismanage
some of the states you
wealth,
talked about, just a quick correction, some of the states you talked about got the monies that rightfully belong to them, which were some of the monies that they were over-deducted at some point. But that's how we leave it because we're out of time. Many thanks for coming on the show, Mr. Osinaga and Mr. Afegbua. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming on the show. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye-bye.